I've got three written questions from Mrs. Nancy Ritchie Noakes, who I understand actually lives within your ward, Councillor Ritchie, in terms of what goes on. I know she's not here tonight, so I shall read her questions out. Do you intend to see waste recycling maximised throughout the entirety of Cheshire West and Chester? How will this be achieved, bearing in mind you'll be running 3 separate waste collection services from April 2009?
Yes. Well, one of the principal methods of increasing recycling is by education and promotion in order to increase public participation rates. And whereas all of the systems that are operated within our new area will be different for a period of 3 years, they have a lot in common. And so we will be busy promoting the waste streams that go to make beneficial, the recycling schemes that go to make beneficial products such as paper, glass, plastics and so on in that literature. And we should be using every means at our disposal to do this.
How much of what is collected for recycling presently ends up in landfill or exported outside the EU? And what steps will you take to ensure this doesn't happen from April 2009?
What we do as part and parcel of our contracts is we monitor and we check what the contractors are doing and what the various services are doing. So we check on where they're sending it. And for example, we're able to verify that glass which is disposed of to Cresco Airport is actually disposed of there and doesn't go somewhere else. And plastics which are disposed of to firm in Loughborough go there as well. I mean, much of that can come back in the form of materials that are useful to us. So we're not, to the best of my knowledge anyway, sending any materials out of the country.
My name is Roger Parkin. I'm a parish councillor in Little Trafford, which councillors may be aware is surrounded by a landfill site. We hear all these nice words about more recycling, but one has to remember the downside here. The more you recycle, the more the operator of the landfill site wants an extension, and is encouraged to get an extension to the life of the landfill site. And residents of our village get very upset with the continuous lorry traffic through the village, which ruins the roads. And of course, it becomes less and less controllable. Why? Because the landfill operator, in this case, waste recycling, can of course fill up the landfill site using commercial waste. Now you can't find out very much how much commercial waste is going there, because that's a commercially sensitive issue. So I just wonder that in thinking about recycling, do remember the downside here, and there are a lot of residents around the Gowey landfill site who are very upset with the third extension we have at the moment. When that was approved by the County Council, it was not agreed that it would be the last extension.
Councillor Ritchie, would you like to comment?
Well, I'll try and comment on that, but I don't feel that I'm the complete authority on it, because I think to a large extent this is a matter for the Waste Local Plan and the future of that site under the terms of the Waste Local Plan. But I do take Mr. Parkin's point about the fact that recycling, the more we're able to divert from our existing landfill sites, may open the door to other operators and so on using those landfill sites. But I would also offer the point that the more we recycle, the less we need to have landfill sites. And that is the principal purpose, I think, of diverting waste from landfill. The other thing is that commercial waste operators will be under exactly the same requirements as we are for the first time, in that they too will have to start treating all of their waste before it goes for disposal. So they will be under the same requirements for reducing and diverting waste from landfill. So overall, the need for landfill sites has got to reduce.
Are you aware that at last the government, took its time over it, is now seriously addressing the problem of excessive packaging on all retail goods, both food and non-food, and that the packaging industry, from design stage through to manufacturing, is hard at work drastically reducing the amount of packaging of both plastic and cardboard for their products, which will have, under the normal circumstances, and at the moment is finding its way into our bins. And in the light of this very welcome news from the government, will Councillor Ritchie now tell us where he is going to obtain sufficient combustible waste to burn in a new incinerator, bearing in mind that virtually all the plastic bottles, the paper, the card, the brown cardboard are going to be recycled? Or does he propose importing the waste from East Cheshire or elsewhere?
Well, I hope that all of the cardboard, plastic bottles and paper and so on, which Councillor Gaskell has referred to, is actually already being diverted from the waste stream and being diverted to the places which I mentioned for beneficial use and not for burning. I think, there is still an awful lot of residual waste within the waste stream, which is contaminated by, as it were, impurities and food and so on, which cannot be recycled. I would certainly welcome the government's initiative in reducing the amount of packaging which is being put around goods and so on, in supermarkets and so on. But I have to say that even if that takes place, I would seriously think that the amount of tonnages and so on that will still need to be processed, treated and disposed of in the way which is envisaged in the proposed contract will be significant.